Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have finally found the time to sit down / stand and film a makeup tutorial for you guys. It has been a hot minute. There's some new products, and I mean, let's be honest, this makeup is not revolutionary, but it's a little bit more extra glam than my typical go-to. So if you want to see how I created this autumnal, a little bit more full coverage for me style makeup, then just keep on watching. Okay, I will say I was at the gym early this morning and I have just a little bit of concealer on, tiny bit of coverage on already, but for foundation or base, you guys know I like to keep it a little bit more soft, natural, but we're gonna do a little bit more coverage today. I'm gonna take this KASH Miracle Tint. I have it in the shade 10 Medium Warm. I am, however, going to mix in this POCO Beauty Universal Solar Glow. It's a little bit more of a bronzy shade. They have a universal one, which is more opaque with a golden undertone sheen, but this has more of a bronzy tone. Just about a tiny pump of that. I'm gonna shake this first because it's quite liquidy. And I mean, that's a hefty amount for me. For a Monday. I feel like autumn coming into winter, you can get away with heavier style makeup just because I feel like our skin needs a little bit more. I know I'm speaking for myself here. Maybe because I'm on tretinoin and I'm going through all the motions of skin change and just texture change, everything. To be fair, I do feel like I'm coming out of the most intense, worst part of it all, which was, oh my gosh, breakout central. Talk about, I felt like a teenager getting acne for the first time. And I do think that's because I have oily acne prone skin, that's how my skin reacted to it, where I think if you have quite dry skin, you get the shed that tretinoin gives you. I do think my skin is starting to really even out, clear up. I'm now adding in red light therapy from my current body mask. Hopefully that's a good combo. And just keeping my skin nice and hydrated. But this base is gonna give me just a little bit more coverage than I would do on an everyday basis, but it's still quite natural. See how that gives me just a little bit more of an even skin tone? I do feel like there's just a little bit of redness popping through on any areas that I've had like a breakout or a scar, but overall I'm liking the subtle evenness that it's giving. The two products that I'm gonna further define and highlight are my Real Depth Multi-Purpose Stick and this Kosas Concealer. This concealer has seen me through some pretty dry times, but it doesn't really cling to any dryness, if you know what I mean. It's quite a hydrating concealer, but it still delivers coverage. So if you're in the market for coverage, but not cakiness, I think you're gonna love this Kosas. I think it's called the Revealer, I'm pretty sure. Really highly rate it. This is where I got all the breakouts on my jaw. So that's where I need the most amount of coverage. Obviously a little bit under my eyes because I'm tired, but for most of the coverage, I want to keep it on this area here. Then I'm gonna go in with Real Depth. I'm gonna warm it up on my hand first and put it right on top of my cheekbone because it's gonna act as my contour because we are gonna go on top of it with a warmer bronzer, but this is just to sculpt out my face. I'm really risking it today with my white turtleneck that is brand new from Marks & Spencer's. Nice and crisp. Do you find this shade in particular really hard to mess up just because it's so complimentary and there's no gray in it? It's just gonna be really natural on your cheeks and it's still gonna deliver that shadow that we all know and love that contour gives. The tip of the brush for a little bit more precision on my nose and then tap it in place, really pushing it into the center of my nose because if I'm blending it on the side of my nose, it's actually gonna give the appearance of a larger bridge where we want a little bit more of a defined bridge. Also, your fingers are your best tools, so get in there and tap it out if you need. Now, like I said, if it's a little over blended here with the concealer, or sorry, the contour, just bring up that concealer that we put on our jaw and carve out the contour, give a little bit more of a snatched look. Don't worry if it's feeling very concealer, contour, because the bronzer that we use next will just blend it perfectly, add warmth, and give a little bit more harmony. Also gonna use my finger just to go under my eyes. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I have a little bit of concealer on from this morning, so I don't need to go too close to my under eye. It's more so in this area here. Bringing it right to the side of my nose to clean up that contour. I do feel like this look is a lot on the base and really having it clean and perfected. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Pearl Translucent Powder because I don't want more coverage. I just need to set what I did to make sure it doesn't move and there's a minimal chance of creasing. So the quicker you set your makeup, especially if you're working with creams, the easier it is to avoid any kind of creasing, fine lines coming through, and it also makes your pores look a lot smaller, which I definitely need. I've also fallen back in love with a powder bronzer. I haven't had one in my collection for a while that I've been absolutely loving. So I actually picked this up at Boots the other day. It's the Bronze Goddess from Estee Lauder, and I got it in the shade Medium Deep, which is the third, I believe. And it's a nice warm tone bronzer, but it's not too orange, it's not too red. It's nice in the middle. I would say it's a little bit more warm than it is neutral, but it's just perfect to add a little bit of definition and warmth and just kind of brings my face back alive. So I'm going to put this on my forehead, my cheekbones, a little bit over my nose, just to blend everything that we did previously. I'm also going to bring that on my eyelids to act as a little bit of a eyeshadow base. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going through a thick, fluffy eyebrow phase. So I'm taking this Max Factor. It's the 2000 calorie brow sculpt. Don't know what the 2000 calorie has anything to do with brows, but volumizing brow gel, and I got it in the shade Soft Brown, and it is thick, so I tend to roll the spoolie to get some of that product out because I don't want too much, because it's a little bit, I mean, it keeps your brows in place. Like, it has a little bit more of a tackiness to it. So I like to actually push my brows down first to really make sure I'm coating the whole brow, to make sure all the product is actually getting on all the hairs. Push it back up, and this is kind of where I style the brow how I like it. And I've been wanting like a little bit of a straighter but thicker looking brow. I don't know if that's the vibe, but I just think I have such a large forehead that I can get away with a larger brow, if you know what I mean. I feel like a soft arch is the most complimentary. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now before they set, I'm gonna take this Sarah Curie brow pencil. Again, I think it's in a brown, yeah, medium brown. It's so tiny, like a super fine angled brow pencil. And I'm just gonna create a couple strokes in areas that my brow is just a bit weak and make it look a little bit thicker. It's mostly this left brow for me, thin at the ends where I want it just a little bit thicker. Again, personal preference. It's definitely giving 90s fluffy brow. I feel like the 90s were either like a really fluffy brow or a non-existent brow. I'm actually gonna go back to my bronzer, and I'm gonna take a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna further deepen my crease. I feel like I'm not a big eyeshadow wearer, but this color is so good against blue eyes. And I mean, if you're not using your bronzer as an eyeshadow in 2025, you need to get on it. It's the easiest hack. It's so complimentary. It's so easy. It's always the perfect tone to wear on your eyes, and it's a one and done look. Plus, you get to use it for multiple things, not just eyeshadow. So I feel like if you're not doing it, start doing it. It's just the easiest thing. Okay, I'm gonna curl my lashes again. I did this morning, but I feel like they can do an extra little curl. So look away if this freaks you out. Now, this is where I've been getting a little crazy. If you know me, I am not really into eyeliner. I've not been wearing it for a while now, but I feel like this shade is so good. If you have blue eyes, Costa Riche from MAC, and it's a very warm tone brown. So what I like to do is really get it into my lash line on the upper lash line, and also on my tight line, which is right underneath. There's no gapping. Nice and close for you. You can see the red base in this. It's not an alarming red, it's just a warmth. And then I take my fingernail and bring it out. I forgot this camera overheats if it's filming for too long. Anyways, I feel like this adds definition to my eyes without it looking too like done up, if that makes sense. And then I just take a really small brush to soften it so it doesn't look like a kohl pencil. It just looks like a smudgy kind of eyeliner. Again, it's just the perfect add-on to give definition to the eyes, and if you want more of a finished look without the time and effort. Whatever's left on the brush, I always just put a little bit on the outer bottom lash line. And I feel like that small amount of liner just does major things. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple coats of my Black at Last mascara to really just amplify the eyes, and then we'll finish off the cheeks and lips. Now we're gonna be using one of the new multi-purpose core sticks. This is the new packaging. How beautiful. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna use the new shade, Something Borrowed, which is a beautiful mid-tone pink with a slight peach undertone. So that's just gonna add to the warmth that we have already on our cheeks. It's also gonna add glow and more of a skin-like finish because we have powders currently on our face with that bronzer and setting powder. So this is gonna bring back a nice, healthy looking skin-like glow, and also the perfect shade of pink. Obviously apply the amount that you're comfortable with, but as you all know, I love me some blush. A little bit on my nose, I'm also gonna put some on my lips. I love keeping my blush nice and high. I just feel like it elevates my cheekbones, it brings everything up, and look at the glow it's given. I always like to tap out the corners or like the sides of the blush with my finger so that everything looks really nicely blended. For lips, I'm gonna take Kiss Kiss liner and fully coat my lips in this, only because I love the shade. I feel like it's my lip shade, but a little bit more enhanced. And this formula is not gonna budge. It literally is gonna stay in place all day. But because we're in that autumnal winter feel, I wanna further enhance the line and make it a little bit more dramatic. So I'm gonna take one of the Rimmel Oh My Plump lip shapers in the shade 110 Rich Cacao. I feel like I need just a little bit of gloss. So I'm gonna take the On The Glow Oil Infused Lip Gloss in the shade B, which is just gonna add a little bit of shine and the hydration that my lips so desperately need. Okay, that's the final look. I am obsessed with it. I mean, it's not revolutionary by any means, but A, I filmed a makeup tutorial, which has been ages, and B, it is a little bit more full coverage than my typical go-to kind of look. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new. Let me know what products you're loving in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.